National Action Network Change Choir. Give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning. For you that are here at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the village of Harlem, and for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and for you that are watching us live stream around the country on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We're happy to be with you another Saturday morning where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Attorney Michael Harding. And certainly to all that have gathered here this morning on this day after Christmas. One of the things that you can always tell your call is when the Saturday after Christmas and Saturday after New Year's that you get these many people out. Now that is impressive to me. I want to thank all of you though that were here on yesterday. I don't think we had more people any Christmas than yesterday. And our emphasis was that we wanted to show that we've got some things started in this city around stop and frisk and pre-K and livable wage. But we've got to conquer homelessness. And we've got to deal with gun violence. And they were here in record numbers, and the mayor came and his daughter, who has started a new program on that, as well as the members of our cabinet. I want to give also a shout out on the air to those that helped donate food. Sylvia's Restaurant, Manners Restaurant, Sweet Mama's Restaurant, Jacob's, Outback, all of them that donated food, and then those that donated the toys and education stuff for the children. And among them was SCIU 1199, the New York Amsterdam News, and our New York chapter Women's Auxiliary, and our cabinet, particularly Aisha Wilson and Anola Tucker. Give them a hand. And certainly I want to thank our cabinet here in New York for doing an outstanding job. Our liaison, Brother Stephen Marshall, and our Vice Chair, Brother Bill Griffin, and all that did work. I was so glad our, not only Mayor de Blasio and his daughter Kiana, but Assemblyman Keith Wright, and young brother Assemblyman Michael Blake was here on his birthday. Yesterday was his birthday. And he stayed all day and served and did the radio show. I did my national radio show live in the back. And of course, my friend and brother, the president of the National Urban League, Mark Morial, came and served, brought his whole family. And I think that the reason I take time to bring all that out is you can't preach what the spirit of Christmas is about and not practice it. A lot of folk have Christmas stuff and don't believe in the spirit of Christmas. Just like about 3 weeks, you're going to find a lot of folk who say, I don't agree with Dr. King, but they're going to have their Dr. King Day stuff. If you don't, I don't have days using stuff I don't believe in. I let folk that believe in that do that. And I might support it, but I'm not going to host it because that's not what I do. And I think that if you are a believer in Christmas, you ought to do what the Christmas spirit is. We come out of the King movement, we do King Day. I don't do everybody's day. because I ain't with everybody. I can respect everybody, but I'm not with that. And I think that what we do historically in the House of Justice, we'll be a quarter of a century old next year, 25 years. Every year we have done what we do. And I think that it is important that we do that. Let me also say, in that spirit, I'm very proud of our Detroit chapter, Reverend Charles Williams, and Detroit man. Not only do they do the Saturday rallies now going on years, but starting tonight, they have action news on the Word Network. So you can turn on the Word Network tonight, 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central, and watch Reverend Charles Williams, the Word Network. He does part of this rally here, part of their rally on national TV. He's got his own radio show. We now have 6 chapters around the country that are on radio like we are here, as we build all young people coming up under man, like I came up under Reverend Jones and Reverend Jackson. That's what it's all about. I would call chapter leaders and people that we've worked with and all, I always call them on holidays. And we have a dynamic young leader of NAN in San Diego, Reverend Shane Harris. Shane, 23 years old. And he was telling me that some of the older ministers that are connected to City Hall is attacking him. I said, well, now you coming into leadership. If nobody's attacking you, you ain't leading. They're going to attack you for not being close to City Hall. Then if your candidate wins, they're going to attack you for being close. Either way, you're going to get attacked. And that goes with the territory. Am I right? I was listening as James Gray was giving the history in 51 when they killed the NAACP leader there in Memphis, Florida. Every leader, every era had to face adversity and flat. If you're not prepared to do that, you're not prepared to lead. I took my daughters out for Christmas Eve, and they were asking me about, well, what about this, what about that, with young people on social media. Nobody that has ever stood for anything didn't have to stand against the flack that comes with that. And that is what separates leaders from celebrities. Celebrities want everybody to be on their side. That's in this new day, you want more likes on your Facebook or on your Instagram. This is not a likes business. I got almost 500,000 people on my Twitter page, but I got enough sense to know half of them following me is following to criticize and down me. You run around James talking about, I got these many likes. No, you got that many people watching you. They don't all like you. They just hit like so they can keep up with you, so they can condemn you. If I announce something right now on Twitter, you're going to get about 30 trawlers talking about blah, 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 blah. You cheated in school, the first grade, all that. If you don't prepare yourself for that, you will never be effective. I look at Aisha Shakur, all the work she's done. Many years, now she's finally getting some recognition. New York Times, finally getting some resources. But many years ignored, marginalized. Everybody knew she was here and act like they didn't see her. But those are the tests you must pass for the grade you want to achieve. Because it will make you more grounded and worthy when you get there. You know, I I was watching, I don't watch it myself, but I was watching something the other day, and they did this lotto commercial. One of the things that struck my mind is that most people that hit the lotto blow the money.
Right.
You see lotto winner, and you count about 3 or 4 years, and you see broke lotto winner. And one of the reasons why that always happens is people that get stuff too easy don't know how to appreciate and cultivate. Sometimes you got to go through lumps and challenges and anxiety and all kinds of tests, so when you establish where you are, you can appreciate where you are. One of our board members is agent for Cam Newton, the quarterback. Cam spent some time with us. I help consult a lot of what they're doing. And Cam has got a perfect record this season. Quarterback that hasn't lost a game yet. I don't even watch football that much, but Cam had me watching last Sunday. Say, come on, Cam. And I'm not supposed to root against the Giants living in New York. But one day, one evening, we were all out, and Cam said something that is also very, very necessary, Brother Jennings, for people who know that are young coming to leadership. Cam said there is no quarterback that first concern is not his defensive line, because I don't care how good you are as a quarterback, they have a line of tacklers there to sack you. And everybody that gets up, if all you know is how to throw the ball and not looking for those that are trying to sack you, and therefore support your defensive squad, you will never win a game because they're going to sack you every time. Part of leadership is also building an infrastructure that will be your defense. Otherwise, you will spend more time on your behind than leading. That's why many of us understand you need to grow up in leadership in organizations, because you are in a structure that can defend as well as push forward.
That's right.
You get out there playing solo, it's easy to take you out because you by yourself. So I think that it is very imperative. Let me, in that spirit, remind everybody, you that are in Radio Land and did not get to the rally like so many are here now, you can make it for Kwanzaa right after we dismiss at 11. Don Jones and our Political Action Committee is starting the first day of Kwanzaa right here at 11 o'clock. So you get on the train, get on up here now. Don't be home talking about emoji by yourself. You can't have unity alone. Unity means you and somebody else. Don't be having these private unity rallies at home. So come on and join Don and our Political Action Committee. One of the things that I am, again, mindful of, I talk about it every week about traditions. Dr. Malana Karanga, who founded Kwanzaa and the 7 principles of Nguzo Saba, the first of which is emoji, and works with our Los Angeles chapter of National Action Network, Reverend K.W. Toulis now. In fact, this August when Reverend Toulis and I did the Watts revisit dinner, Dr. Karanga was at the dinner. Dr. Karanga has supported us and been part of. A lot of us don't know our history. And I meet a lot of these provocateurs that condemn a movement history that they don't even know. Fact of the matter is that This week I was got a call on, I believe it was Thursday, from Reverend Jesse Jackson, who had just got back from Guinea. He went to Guinea for the inauguration of the new president. And he called me on Christmas Eve, Thursday, and he said, I want you to know, Al, that while I was in Guinea, I visited the grave of Kwame Ture, also known as Stokely Carmichael. And I said, well, I'm glad to hear that Stokely and Reverend Jackson and Julian Bond and John Lewis, all of them around the same age. Stokely and Reverend Jackson was the same age. And he said, one of the things that is interesting, I want y'all to get this. He said, one of the things that is interesting is that we all had different tactics. We had different swords to chop down the same tree. But we all respected each other in what we did. Because all of us were sincerely trying to approach how we dealt with racism and how we dealt with white supremacy and how we dealt with unfairness. So Stokely and I were friends, even though he advocated black power. I was with Dr. King. His crowd didn't agree with Dr. King. My crowd didn't agree with them, but we wasn't hostile. We wasn't running around trying to shut each other down. He said this new thing of shutting each other down comes from those that are manipulating on the outside to divide and conquer. You don't agree with me, then don't agree. But why you want everybody to be quiet but you? That there's no precedent in our history like that. I remember in 1971, there was a dispute in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Give y'all a little history in Hollywood. And I was youth director in New York under Bill Jones. Dr. Abernathy suspended Reverend Jackson as the head of Operation Breadbasket. Christmas Day, Reverend Jackson went and founded Operation Push. They are, 46 years, whatever it is, 44 years, 45 years old this weekend. Well, they didn't get to fighting. He went on for a push. Down the road, they began relating again, even talked about merging. Because movements are in their own definition, dynamic and creative. So you're going to get people that will bump into each other. But the challenge is to keep going and not be hostile. So now you had a SCLC and a push. Out of that comes a National Action Network. Out of what we doing emerges a lot of efforts. So part of the continuity that you will see when we do our silver anniversary next year is that this started with Sharpton and Hardy and others. But out of it, we're seeing leaders like a Charles Williams in Detroit, like a K.W. Toulis in L.A., like a Reverend Dr. Philip Craig here in Queens. That will, in their generation, not only lead their community, but lead the network. And then there'll be folk behind them. You hope to lead until you get older and then pass it on. So all of our longings has been for that. And I don't know nobody that want to die young. Everybody want to be young, but you want to die young. Everybody want to live as long as they can. And I've always said that we want to build a structure that will outlast us. And we have a multi-generation leadership here, from the Phil Craigs and them. Even younger than that generation behind them, we were in a meeting, and some of the millennials talking their talk. And Mary Pat Hector, who's our National Youth Director and runs it out of the Atlanta office, she's 17, president of the freshman class at Spelman. she said, well, I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm 17, I ain't a millennial. I'm X generation. Y'all old and disconnected to me. So just like the X generation think the millennials are old, the millennials think that the generation ahead of them is old, the baby boomers. My generation, baby boomers, think Hardy and them is old. What's y'all's generation? The boom babies? I don't know what y'all are. And Hardy and I say, wait. So, but all of it is one line. Now let me run you right into why that works. I spoke for the conference of National Black Churches in Charleston last week. Our chairman, Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, chairs it. And I was talking about how there must be continuity. Now, one of the things, going right back to my theme, one of the things about celebrating Christmas, the first thing that Jesus is connected to is a prophetic tradition. Y'all that believe in it start with me, I'm new, ain't nothing happened before. Well, that is antithetical to the story of Jesus in Christmas. Well, what you mean, Sharpton? It was prophesied that the Messiah was coming and he would be born in Bethlehem. One of the ways that they determined that Jesus was the baby is it was prophesied to be in swaddling clothing and where the location area he would be in. Joseph and Mary left where they were and journeyed into Bethlehem, leaving Nazareth to answer the census and to deal with taxes and to deal with what was required, which fulfilled the prophecy. If you didn't believe in the prophecy and the tradition that you came from, then you didn't validate who Jesus was. So all these 90-day wonders, all these I don't come from nowhere, I don't believe in traditions. Well then, if Jesus validated a tradition, who you supposed to be? First thing Joseph did, following the law of Moses, is go and give gifts when a newborn was born. Moses' law, given in Leviticus, is that you give gifts at the synagogue to thank God for giving new life. Now watch this. That's why we feed the hungry. Joseph and Mary did not have a lot of money, so they couldn't afford to give a lamb. So the Bible said they gave 2 dove turds, because that's how poor they were. So here you are, right wing. You call poor folks looking for handouts. You call folk trying to come in the country from oppression, unwanted refugees. Yet you claim to want to be right-wing Christian, and Jesus was poor and a refugee. Jesus Philip Craig at birth, when Herod found out about the child was born and sent them to kill those under 2 years old, and the angel came and told Joseph, flee to Egypt, which is in Africa. And they fled to Egypt. They were fleeing oppression into a land of safety, which made them refugees. Same thing y'all talking about Syria, fleeing Assad, fleeing oppression, to go somewhere else. Well, how you going to go and preach Jesus on Sunday and then vote against refugees on Monday? How you going to flee to Egypt in Africa if you have don't look like the Africans that you hiding with. Well, I don't know if he's African or not. Well, if he hid in Africa and wasn't standing out like a sore thumb, it must have meant he looked like everybody else in Africa. If I'm gonna run and hide, I ain't gonna run where I'm gonna stand out. Hello? I mean, some things I don't need historians. Some things just common sense. Now watch this for you, Holy Roll. Herod. A lot of stuff about this Christmas thing y'all don't want to dig into. Glad Philip Craig with me because I got my back. If I got to run up out of here, he'll help me. But I know some of y'all don't like me mess with the scripture. Ran in Africa. Herod had sent the edict down to kill the babies under 2. Is that right? Yes. But have you ever thought about Herod wanted Jesus killed not because of a spiritual reason, but because of a political reason. Because Herod felt the new king would unseat him as the political authority. Herod didn't say, oh Lord, he's going to take the church. He said he's going to take my political power, which means Jesus himself was born dealing with political oppression. So how you come 2,000 years later talking about I ain't got nothing to do with politics when your Savior was born under political tyranny and had to deal with it? I don't know why Sharpton and them always in the Gardner case, there's something like Jesus started as a baby running against political tyranny. You're in the wrong religion, Reverend. You're in the praise and jump up and shout religion. They didn't shout in Bethlehem, they ran from oppression. Now if you scared to run, say that. If you're afraid of Herod, say that. But I act like something wrong with us. When you take a scripture and distort it and pervert it and hustle it for your own limited ends. Preach the word, quit hustling the word. Christmas is about a man and a woman going to a dangerous journey, another land, made homeless because they couldn't find room in the inn, made refugees after he was born, and was poor where they couldn't even afford a lamb. Out of that, God brought his son. That's the Christmas story. God could have done it any way he wanted. Could have put him in a rich home. Could have put him where there was no oppression. What was God trying to tell us by putting all of those factors in Jesus' story? That all of those were factors we had to confront if we gonna be like Jesus. I'm gonna throw you one other, the real hero. The unheralded hero, the forgotten hero, Brother Gray. Everybody talks about the wise men, and that's good. And they deserve respect for following the signs, listening to the angel. But there's one person they don't give enough credit to, and that's Joseph. Well, why do you say that, Sharpton? Can you imagine? An angel comes to you and tell you your old lady is pregnant, even though she virgin and you ain't never been with her. Start there. Your old lady, who you ain't been with, is pregnant. If that ain't hard enough, she's pregnant for the Lord. That's a whole lot to swallow now. And you ain't even woke up yet. She ain't been with you and she having a baby and God's the father. And I'm not through yet. And I want you to take the baby and raise the baby like it's yours.
Right? Tell the story.
Y'all talk about somebody with faith. Joseph had as much faith or more than Mary. Because Joseph didn't abandon Mary or abandon Jesus. He believed what he believed and raised somebody else's child and believed who he was. Which means somewhere in this Christian story, somewhere in this Christmas story, we got to deal with men that raise other men's babies. And that believe that it is the will of God that they take what is not their blood but becomes their child and their responsibility.
Amen.
A lot of men in our community take other folks' children and father them anyhow. Well, that's how Jesus was born. Raised by a man that was not his daddy but was his father. Known in town as a carpenter's son. Because if you want to be like Jesus, you want to be real Christian, you give identity and self-esteem and self-worth to those that would be rejected and marginalized. You give them a sense of being because that's the right thing to do. Limited people sit around gossiping about babies rather than nurturing them. Sit around talking about, well, you don't know that story. You don't know about his mama. Oh, let me tell you. Imagine how they would have been talking about Mary. Yeah, she told that man that God knocked her up. And that fool out there doing carpentry work with that little boy, that ain't his little boy. Don't even look like him. Look at Jesus, look at Joseph, they don't even look alike. And Joseph crazy enough, does he think he looked like God? Well, that's how y'all talk. Rather than say, I don't care how the boy got here. The boy need a daddy. The boy need a community. The boy need a village. The boy needs salvaging. No child born is a mistake. The mistake is you that don't understand our responsibility. I ain't got nothing to do with how I got here. I got something to do with what I can do if it crossed my path. Major in mess. There's a whole industry in America on mess. The mess industry. Social media driven by mess. Reality TV driven by mess. Y'all addicted to mess. That's why we've gone from a psychology of dealing with people with debt to dealing with mess. The Kardashian word. And once you get people down into that kind of psychology, where you become a celebrity just based on nonsense, sex tapes, and showing your nudity and all. Once you bring the psychology down there, then you can have reality stars like Donald Trump be the number one candidate for president. You got to bring people down to a certain mentality. And once you're there, then you can go ahead and deal with something else. Because have you ever looked at the whole concept of where the world is has changed now? So we don't go by who the smartest, we go by who can talk the most trash. So your politicians, trash talk. Your preachers, trash talk. So young ministers, young pastors, Philip Craig, they're not growing up wanting to be the next Gardner Taylor or the next Bill Jones. They want to be Joel Osteen. So you're going to be in historic black pulpits, emulating and imitating something foreign to that. And in order to justify it, you got to be against traditions, because you're not continuing the tradition that produced the platform you standing on. You're imitating folk that wouldn't let you in their church. I ain't with all of the traditional, I ain't with traditional civil rights, I ain't with tradition. You ain't with nothing. But that is anti-everything in history, because everything, Bill Clinton grew up wanting to be like John Kennedy. Right. Everybody had something that they wanted to emulate. But the reason why a lot of people don't want to emulate things and be a part of something bigger than them and that preceded them is because then there's no rules you have to abide by. That's why I told you the Christmas story started with the prophecy of Jesus, law of Moses. That meant they had to follow the law of Moses. Following the law means if you don't follow the law, you violate it. And a lot of y'all don't want to be in nothing because you don't want to have to follow the rules and the disciplines of that. So if you can just make your own thing, you make your own rules. So you ain't never wrong. And you ain't never corrected because you have made your own rules. So if Jesus made sure that he reinforced the rules of the law of Moses, and he was God's son, then who are you? Every major leader comes out of a manifestation of the leadership that preceded them. And where we are today, I'm saying that and I'm going to let you go. Where we are today at this stage in our struggle can only be properly dealt with by those that understand the struggle and it is evolution from the beginning. We were brought here enslaved, brought here for economic reasons. How do you build an empire? One way is to build it on the backs of folk that you can make a profit and don't have to pay the wages.
Free labor.
If you get free labor, you got to get rich because you have undercut your cost. So if you can make cotton king and don't have to pay the cotton pickers, you do that long enough, you got to become the most powerful, richest nation in the world. That's why we were brought here. Well, how do you justify working people without paying them? Well, we are superior. And they are less than you. So racism and white supremacy justified and unfair economic arrangement.
Right?
So the way I can justify to my child that I'm working this person like an animal and not paying them is to make them little more than animals but less than human. Otherwise, I can't explain to my baby why the woman that nursed her and raised her, because her mama wouldn't, ain't getting paid, because mammy ain't nothing. That's where the N-word come from. That's first stage, enslaved. Well, then when they got to fighting over money, the agricultural industrialists fighting the northeastern industrialists over tariffs and over industrialization, and the northern industrialists said, wait a minute, the southern agrarian aristocrats can't tell us what to do, and they started splitting over states. That's where the Civil War began in formation. How does the northern industrialists undercut the South? We're going to take away your economic base. What is your economic base? Your free labor. So we're going to free the slaves, which is going to break your plantation profits. We ain't freeing the slaves because we love the slaves. We are freeing the slaves to break your economic interests.
Right? Tell a story.
You sit around talking about how they loved you. It wasn't about you.
Love money.
It was about I can break my enemy if I can take his free labor.
Right.
You were just some prop in the middle of an economic game.
Right.
You got enslaved that way, you got freed that way. Oh, they went out and fought to emancipate me. No, they went out to break their enemy's back.
That's right.
Because if you got to start paying for the slaves, your profits is cut. The northern industrials control. And that's what the Civil War element started about. When the Union wins, in order to maintain a majority of the state legislative houses and the Congress, they had to let the ex-slaves vote. That's second phase. So in Reconstruction, you got to give them the vote, because if we don't, you're going to be outvoted in Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. And we would need to control some of those southern legislatures and the Congress. The result was our forefathers, understanding the manipulation, used that vote to put 27 of us in Congress and the Senate. Because they were clear that we were using the best of a bad situation. And there were different tactics there. Frederick Douglass had a different tactic than Garner and Nat Turner. But they all respect each other. John Brown, who was a white abolitionist, that went and did the insurrection at Harper's Ferry. Frederick Douglass visited him.
That's right.
And didn't join him.
That's right.
Hello?
Right.
Y'all need to study some history, don't refer to it.
That's right. That's it. Tell him, Rev.
In the Tilden-Hayes Compromise,
That's right.
they gave up our rights to make peace with the North and the South. Am I right, Hardy?
Amen.
And that's where we began losing constitutional votes in the Supreme Court. And by 1900, we had lost our seats in Congress and lost our right to vote. That was the end of Reconstruction. We started fighting from there, 1906, NAACP and others had been formed already. And they fought from there all the way to the 50s against legal apartheid and against our not having the right to vote. By the 60s, you had the Voting Rights Act, Brown versus Board of Education, Civil Rights Act. And then after that, Dr. King on one side, Malcolm on another. Black Power movement started. In the aftermath of the right to vote and the right to equal education comes the end of the second Reconstruction. Election of Richard Nixon all the way into Reagan. The fight then was to maintain what we won in the 60s. Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act and all. That became the era that we all started in. The no justice, no peace. What were we fighting for from Howard Beach all the way to police brutality? To maintain the Civil Rights Act, initiating racial profiling, and to maintain the Voting Rights Act, which they're chipping away at. That all led to the election of the first black president, Barack Obama. So the first black president fights to maintain the Voting Rights Act, gives the United States its first Affordable Care Act, dealt with criminal justice system, Civil Rights Act. As he leaves the White House in a year from now, they intend for that to be the end of the third Reconstruction. That's what you are fighting. But if you think it all started with you, and don't understand it started back in Virginia when we got here, and this is nothing but the third phase of a long battle, you won't know how to fight and why you fighting and what you fighting, because you don't understand the story and your adversary understands the story. That's why they ain't making sense, because they're going right to the core argument. What is your policy on this? Ain't about policy, it's about them. That's why they ain't running out no program and rising the polls, because it's not about a program. It's about us. We got to go back and end this. When that black family walks out the White House, we got to turn the clock back. That's the goal.
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
And the way to weaken them is divided.
Right.
Because why? They've shown too much political savvy and too much political sophistication, like they did in first Reconstruction. They done went and elected a black president. They got 46 blacks up in the Congress. This is like 1860s again. That's why they mad. Can you imagine? They got a black family in the White House, and the civil rights guys like Sharpton and them won't even jump up and down on them. We blocking them every step of the way to get them mad, and they smart enough not to get mad, go for the bait. They said we disagree with this, but we gonna cover them there. They didn't even jump up and took stop and frisk and won an election in New York.
Right?
See, y'all looking at it down here, you gotta look up here. We re-elected Obama, and de Blasio ran on our platform, admitted it here yesterday, and won the biggest city in the country. And you wonder why they don't like us? Right now, you ain't support everything de Blasio. There's some things he didn't do. Absolutely, there's some things he haven't done. But I know for 20 years,
That's right.
under Giuliani and Bloomberg, stop and frisk and breaking our rights down existing. We're turning that around. I understand better than anybody what we got to do. But I also understand you got to first turn the ship around before you start sailing toward the right shore. And I also understand the sharks in the water that never wanted us to have an Obama or a de Blasio. And I understand the assigned militants who never opened their mouths about Giuliani or Bloomberg. They never opened their mouth about George Bush. But now got all this to say about Obama all the way down to Blasio. I know because I've been in the water a long time. I follow a traditionalist called Jesus, who said, I come to fulfill the law of Moses. I didn't come to replace Moses. I didn't come to reject Moses. I didn't come to tell you Moses is old school. I come to fulfill the law of Moses. And we come not to reject Martin, but to fulfill Martin and to protect the next step of what Martin and Malcolm was talking about. We come as children of those that paid a price and opened the door, and we're going to keep that door open. The lady from Chicago called Mama T. She comes up here every year for our convention. She got a saying, it's in the book. We be speaking and she'll yell out, y'all seen up in here, it's in the book. Well, y'all need to go to the book. Remember, they don't like me, it's in the book. They ain't supposed to like me.
That's right.
Blessed are them. When men persecute you and speak evil against you, it's in the book. Remember, they plot against you, it's in the book. I'll be with you when they plan and plot against you. Go to the book. If everybody's on your side, then something wrong with you. If ain't nobody mad at you, you out of the book. I serve a Lord that Herod tried to kill him at birth. Pharisees got him at trial. And they sentenced him to death. Never got a break. Broke him down the way he even said to his father, is there any way to pass this bitter cup? But before he finished saying it, well, take this cup, he knew it was in the book and he said, not my will, but thy will be done. Because if it's your will, they may kill me, but you'll bring me back. They may knock me down, but you'll lift me up. They may try to destroy me, but you'll make a way. It's in the book. But you rather believe in fantasies than in history. That's why rather than tell them that Jesus, a born refugee and political liability to that kingdom, you don't want to tell that story. You want to talk about some fat guy from the North Pole coming down here with some reindeer. You don't want to tell how mama had to struggle and cash her check and her supplements to give you some at the end of the year. No, let's give the credit to some fat cat from the North Pole. Raising your children on fantasies. And if they grow up that way, then they'll embrace fantasies all their life. There's a straight road from fantasies to reality TV. It's all fantasy. It's make-believe living. But the reason I've been able to survive a lot of battles, Aisha, is because I grew up dealing with reality. I knew there was something wrong with that Santa Claus story because there wasn't no chimney in my house. So I know he couldn't be coming down the chimney. And I know there wasn't no reindeers gonna hover over my house. Because I know the guys that lived on my block. So I went in the book and read the real story. And I come to tell you 2015 years later, Santa Claus show in my house. I grew up conscious in Brownsville. Santa never showed up, but Jesus did. He showed up, the baby, born in that manger that ascended to heaven 33 years later. He showed up. He didn't come down no chimney. He came up raised by those that believed in him, that told me if you call him, he'll hear your cry, and he'll make a way out of no way. Santa's a no-show, but Jesus showed up. That's why we can feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and care for the oppressed, because Jesus showed up. That's why we can take nothing and make something happen, because Jesus showed up. That's why ex-slaves can elect black presidents, because Jesus showed up. Because he showed up, he promised. He made my enemies my footstool. He promised the first would be last, the last would be first. The lion and the lamb will lay down together. If my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and turn, get rid of them fantasies, turn, get rid of that bad information, turn.